Hello, this is Tim Elrick and Steve Shea, and we will be analyzing how the young characters live in multiple presents and how time has the ability to both enrich as well as hinder their motivations. The book we'll be analyzing is The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner.
Alright, so the first page that we will be analyzing is page 18. That is in Benji's section, the first section of the book. Now this page really has a focus on Caddy and her progressive nature as a result of her view on time. Alright, now this page comes from the instance in the section where Caddy has gotten her dress wet and Quentin is telling her not to take it off, but saying that she'll get in trouble. But Caddy goes ahead and does it anyway. This is just one really demonstration of Caddy's progressive nature. So in this section, you can see that Caddy and Quentin are fighting, really arguing about what Caddy ought to do. In this page, you can see a lot of references to time, especially going forward. You see next year right here, and then going backwards, you have yesterday, when. These really, especially next year, they really represent Caddy's progressive nature, how she really doesn't regard the old Southern codes as important. In this page, you also see really where Caddy gets her underwear wet. This muddy underwear symbol really comes to symbolize an important thing in this first section of the novel. When Benji notices Caddy's muddy underwear later in the section, they are really presented to the reader in a way so that they foreshadow Caddy's own promiscuity later on in her life. This foreshadowing is also really representative of time and its importance within both the section, Benji's section, and the rest of the novel. This next page that we'll be focusing on is still in the first section, Benji's section of the book. Benji's section, and really this entire page, comes to focus on Faulkner's stream of consciousness technique of illustrating the events in the novel. Using this technique, Faulkner does not focus on the chronological order of the events, but rather presents them in a way so that similar events are connected. Events that can be connected through ideas or other connections are really presented next to each other. In this way, time really does not play a role in determining the order of events. Now, this style can really be related to Benji's mental disability. Because of his disability, he really doesn't understand the meaning of time. For him, time essentially has no meaning. As a result of this, all of Benji's experience are essentially part of the present. He cannot differentiate between the past, the present, and what is going to be the future. Throughout the novel, and especially in Benji's first section of the book, Faulkner uses italics to demonstrate a shift in events from his stream of consciousness. Benji's section really has a lot of these shifts in events, and especially this page. On this one alone, you can see 5 different shifts, all marked by italics.
So the third page we'll be analyzing is page 80, and we will be focusing on the time when Quentin broke his watch. There's a lot of symbolism that occurs and is present on this page. For instance, the blood that he sheds, the watch itself, and also our overarching theme of time. Quentin's watch is a gift from his father that he gives to Quentin in the hopes that it will, in a sense, relieve him of the constant need for Quentin to check time and be so focused on time itself. As we find on this page, right here, Quentin breaks his watch into fragments and cuts himself where the red is smeared on the dial. Quentin is unable to escape his preoccupation with time, with or without the watch, which is why he eventually commits suicide and kills himself. As we stated in one of our annotations, Because the watch once belonged to Mr. Compson, it constantly reminds Quentin of the glorious heritage his family considers so important, where the irony plays a major factor is that he's humiliated by their past and that he's inevitably unable to escape the time even though he breaks the watch itself. We find that the watch ticks on right here, and that is symbolic that time is even haunting Quentin after he breaks the watch. So no matter what, Quentin is unable to escape his past and escape the burden that his family carries, and that leads inevitably into his untimely death. We're going to take a look at page 85 in Faulkner's The Sound and the Fury for our next analysis. The concept of time remains obviously one of the main themes and symbols throughout the book. Whether it's Benji, who has no sense of time, or Quentin, who is haunted by time, Faulkner's treatment of time is hailed as revolutionary. This is also where the stream of consciousness plays a major role in the book. Here you'll see I highlighted some of the times where the ticking of the broken watch was mentioned. The ticking represents time's continued ability to affect Quentin. Even though the watch is broken, it still continues to haunt him and drives him to insanity. Quentin futilely attempts to escape time by breaking the watch, but it continues to tick even without the hands, haunting him even after he leaves the watch behind in his room. This is where Quentin sees no other solution but suicide. The oldest of the Compson children, Quentin feels an inordinate burden of responsibility to live up to the family's past greatness and prestige. Although he is very intelligent, he is really restricted and held back by the traditional Southern code of conduct and morality, and what they lived for in the past. Quentin obsesses over all the clocks in the repairman's shop because obviously he is trapped by time.
Alright, so the next page that we'll be focusing on is page 90, which falls within Quentin's section of the novel. On this page, it's really important to notice Quentin's references to shadows. Now, these shadows can represent really multiple things. I mean, you can see that he points them out 4 times here. One thing that the shadows can come to represent is really how the Compson's family is a shadow of what they once were. They're really degrading throughout this time, and they are nothing like they used to be. Their reputation. The shadows can also represent really the past that they can't escape. Now, obviously the shadows follow them around all the time. They can't escape them, even though Quentin tries to trick one. So really, no matter how hard they try to escape their shadow, their past, the old Southern codes, they really can't. It's impossible.
This has been Tim Elrick's and Steve Shea's analysis of how the young characters live in multiple presents and how time has the ability to both enrich as well as hinder their motivations. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.